Would you like to have your query letter critique, but you don't want to pay to have that happen? It can be done for free, but it will be public out here on my socials. My name is Gina. I'm an author, editor, publishing professional. I help you make your writing better. Information on how to submit will be at the end, but please remember there's a real life person on the other side of this query, so please be nice to them in the comments and don't tell them to just self-publish because that's not how this works. All right, Sons of Naomi, complete at 61,500 words, is a gripping blend of psychological suspense and family drama told through 3 POVs. I'm going to pause right there. 61,000 words is very, very short. That can work, particularly like for category romance, cozy mysteries, not for psychological suspense, not for family dramas, and not with 3 POVs. That is very, very short indeed, and especially if we are comping to Celeste Ng, she writes stuff that's on the longer side. This is gripping family dramas. They are very twisty plots, but they're longer, right? So we're in the I'm totally spitballing here. I would guess she's in the 115, 125, 130,000 range, just guessing, but definitely not 61,000 words. So I'm very nervous about that word count. Single mother, I don't know why I have a comma there. Single mother Naomi Field has been living in Mapletown her whole life. If you've got like a fictional town like this, that does nothing. I don't know what the vibe of Mapletown is, so that doesn't do anything for me. If you're going to list like a specific neighborhood, Celeste Ng's story, like in Shaker Heights, right? Like that's a real place. We know what that means. That conveys something to the reader. Fictional towns don't convey anything to the reader because I don't know what it does. I don't know anything about it. They are an ordinary, perfect family with just one unusual family tradition. Every Friday, they celebrate their mother's divorce anniversary. Every Friday. That is very unusual. But on one peculiar Friday, I think you probably mean one particular Friday, the boys choose to skip family dinner and spend time with their girlfriends. No harm in that, semicolon, till they return home and find their mother in a deep sleep the next day. So we have some grammatical issues in here. We've got some punctuation problems. How old are these boys? Are they adults who live with mom who just come home for Friday night dinner? Are they teenagers? Are they literal boys? That is unclear, but it feels necessary. The book is called The Sons of Naomi, and I don't know enough about these sons. When Naomi Field's body is found so is deep sleep the next day, is that a euphemism or is she already deceased? Because here we have wristlets. I'm going to actually guess based on this sentence here that you don't need this paragraph at all. But let's keep going. When Naomi Field's body is found with wristlet, the police call it a suicide. Her 3 sons, Collins, Jake, and Andrew, are left to grapple with her sudden death and with their own fractured relationships. But when the truth surfaces that Naomi didn't take her own life but was murdered, it unleashes a torrent of secrets and a hunt for a killer who could just be anybody. So that is the genre. Okay, so yeah, you definitely don't need that first paragraph in there because you have set up what the story is here. I would like to know more about like how old these boys. Actually, I can see that we are going to dive in and let's get to see these boys. We don't want this many POVs in the query letter. Collins, the eldest, channels his burgeoning detective instincts into uncovering the truth, all while guarding his brothers from the fallout, just as he's done his entire life, a role so consuming it led him to become a detective with a goal other than to protect citizens. So he is an adult and he's pretty far into his career if he's a detective already, but if he's got burgeoning detective instincts, how is he already a detective? That feels confusing. With a goal other than to protect citizens, I mean, you got to tell us what the goal is, or don't bring it up here at all. Or this is this kind of, wouldn't you like to know, secret keeping in the query letter is not as enticing as you would think. Jake, the golden boy, burdened with guilt, wrestles with his own complicity and inability to form deep complicity with what? Inability to form deep connections. Everything changes, however, when he begins seeing his mother's former mentee, Nicole Barner. What is everything that changed? Mentee in what? Is she like, I don't know what she did, so I don't know what this person, like how close was this relationship? Is that really that important? Like sometimes you are a mentor to somebody at work and it means that you like had coffee with them once in a while. Sometimes it means something more serious and more significant and more, but like mom's dead. Does mom actually really care about this? Are either of these things actually tied to the crime at hand? And Andrew, the youngest, fights an uphill battle against self-harm, social anxiety, and gripping paranoia towards the new neighbors who he just can't trust for all the right reasons. Are there right reasons to just not trust your neighbors? Things get slightly more complicated, comma, when he begins dating weird-looking, comma, pink-haired Lucy Grant, M dash giant space, the daughter of the neighbor he believes murdered his mother. Three brothers, a dead mother, and a hunt for a killer hiding in plain sight. So why all these different POVs if you're just going to shine the light on the neighbor as the suspect here? And I assume the three POVs are the brothers bouncing through the story. It sounds like you are trying, it sounds like you're trying a little too hard to like place the emphasis on the red herring and not on the story and the stakes. What is actually at stake for these young men? I still don't know how old they are. The one seems like a genuine adult, but I don't know about the rest of them. What is at stake for them? What do they need to find their mother's killer, or what's at stake for them? Okay, so Sons of Naomi is written in 5 parts. It's only 60,000 words long. So each part is only 12,000 words. Those are very brief indeed. Each part keeping the reader guessing. And how are we doing 5 parts with 3 POVs? Keeping the reader guessing who's the murderer of Naomi Field as new secrets are unraveled daily and new connections made. That is a mystery. You are explaining the genre. It's heartwarming with raw emotions and brutal sibling dynamics while balancing a twisty murder mystery. And I redacted this person's name, so I thought we had all of those POVs in there. And that was, I usually don't read these ahead of time. I try to scan for things like pulling a name out. So heartwarming with raw emotions and brutal sibling dynamics. So first, you have just described so this, like written in 5 parts, combined with that word count, that is too short. You're doing too many things with too little space. That's going to be a deal breaker. Then you explain what your genre is. But then heartwarming with raw emotions and brutal sibling dynamics. You didn't show us anything heartwarming in the query letter. You didn't show us any raw emotion. You like dive straight into the fact that they're all trying to solve this mystery and they all have their reasons for suspecting different people. You didn't give us any of that emotion. So this makes me not believe you. As a practicing lawyer, bring a unique perspective to crime fiction. That's actually great. So that means that you can write something that is extremely realistic from the inside, that does explain the concisity of the words in the novel. I'm going to encourage you to spend some time developing craft as a novelist and to get away from that ultra precise language that you use as an attorney. All right, so let's dive in. Who are the main characters? Those boys, but they all kind of function as a single unit. What is it they want? Find their mother's killer. What are they willing to do to get it? One of them's doing his literal job and the other 2 are doing nothing. Basically, they're just kind of like floating around, waiting for the mystery to be solved. What is standing in their way? Nothing so far as I can tell. General secrets. I mean, obviously a murder happened, so someone doesn't want to be discovered. But the guy's a detective. So like if anybody's going to be able to solve it, it's going to be him. And then what happens if they fail? Nothing. You didn't put anything at stake for us. So I recommend going in, diving in, and spending some time on craft, making sure that word count grows to be something that is appropriate for the genre and for the category that you are writing in. Is this adult fiction? I assume it is, because you've got an adult detective. And then focus on what is at stake for these characters and really give us something to latch onto and to connect with them. If you would like to submit, the information on how to do so is in the link tree in my bio underneath the Query Critique Submissions button. If you do not want to do this publicly, I have an editing business and I will do 3 rounds of editing back and forth with you. The line on that is pretty long. If you don't want to wait for that, I do have a course where you can teach this to yourself entirely. It's 3.5 hours worth of original content. It's only $30. Goes through before and afters of successful query letters. It goes through some like weird querying etiquette stuff. Or you can just scroll through my playlists and teach yourself this process for free.